Hello everyone. In this video, I will introduce the breadth first search algorithm with the help of the problem named valid BFS taken from a Codeforces Div2 contest. This problem is rated 1700 and the learning target associated with this problem is that by the end of this video, you should be able to understand the BFS algorithm in terms of the order in which the nodes in the graph are being visited. So in this problem, we are given a tree with n nodes and an array A of size n, and we need to check if A can represent a valid BFS ordering of the tree. So the BFS algorithm can be explained in three simple steps. In the first step, you initialize a queue with node 1 and mark the first node 1 as visited. Then, while the queue is not empty, you pop off the top element of the queue and add its unvisited neighbors to the queue. So you can check that the same algorithm is described in 6 steps in the problem statement. So to be able to understand this problem, we first need to consider some important facts of the BFS algorithm. And the first one, which is probably the most powerful and where BFS is used most often, is to find the shortest distance from one to every other node, and this is because we visit the nodes in increasing order of their distance from one. The second important fact is that we need array A to satisfy the property that the distance of the ith node in A should be less than or equal to the distance of the I plus 1th node in A. However, this property, which follows from the first idea, is not sufficient to conclude that A is indeed a valid BFS. And this is where most solutions would get a wrong answer. If you only implement the second idea by just checking the condition that distance of AI is less than or equal to the distance of AI plus 1, it's not enough to conclude that A is a valid BFS. And this is because this property has to be true for all BFSs and not just for A. So you could have another BFS B also satisfy this property. So since B is not equal to A and B also satisfies this property, then we can't conclude for sure that A is a valid BFS. Now let's see how we can approach the problem using the ideas behind the BFS algorithm. And what we actually need to do is we need to analyze the BFS algorithm closely. So you should realize that step 3 in the algorithm, where we are adding adjacent nodes to the current node in the queue, is the only place where multiple BFS possibilities can arise, and only in that step is where the discrepancy can occur. So if you look at step 3, we are adding adjacent nodes to the current node. And what we actually need to fix is fix the order in which we are adding the adjacent nodes. That's the key motivation behind the solution. And an obvious way to do that would be by sorting. So first let's consider a simpler problem where we can directly apply sorting. And that problem is where we want to find the smallest BFS ordering. So we are looking for the lexicographically smallest BFS ordering. And if we consider that problem, then what we would realize is that once we are at a node 1, and let's say that node 1 was connected to some other nodes 6, 12, 13, and let's say there was also node 5, then if we want to find the lexicographically smallest ordering, we would go to 5 first, because that would create the initial part 1, 5, and we would choose this over 1, 6 or 1, 12 or 1, 13. We would obviously choose 5. And why did we choose 5? Because 5 has the smallest number and 5 is adjacent to 1. And that's what we exactly need to do. we need to choose the node with the smallest number among the nodes adjacent to the current node. And this means that, coming back to the first step where we need to fix the ordering, we need to sort the adjacent nodes by increasing order of their number. So that's how we'll fix the ordering, and that's how we can solve the simpler problem where we need to find the lexicographically smallest BFS ordering of the tree. So just to recap it quickly, we would sort the adjacency list of every node and we would run the normal BFS algorithm. Now let's come back to the original problem where we need to check whether or not A can be a valid BFS ordering. So the key question you should be asking yourself after seeing the video so far is that, can we apply the same sorting idea in this problem? So can we find a criteria to sort the nodes, the adjacent nodes to a given node? And the answer is yes. And that sorting criteria we will need to find. So in the previous problem, the simpler version of this problem, the sorting criteria was very simple. We would sort nodes based on their node number. However, in this problem, we don't need to find the lexicographically smallest valid BFS. We actually need to find the BFS which is the same as the given array A. So that's a hint. We would need to find a BFS that's the same as the array A, and that basically means that we need to sort the adjacent nodes by the order in which they appear in A, and then basically we'll just run a BFS and check if the BFS which we got is the same as A. Now, how do we implement this? How do we find where each node appears in A? And the simple way to do that would just be to check the position of each node appearing in A. So let index of I be the position where node I comes in the claimed BFS A. And now what would be the custom comparator? So remember, when we are implementing the solution, we are essentially writing this custom comparator, which is the sorting criteria on the basis of which we are sorting the adjacent nodes. And the custom comparator will just be the index of I will be less than the index of j, and in that case I should come before j. So our custom comparator will just be one line after we find index of I, and index of I can be done simply in one loop, so there's no problem in that. I'll show you how we can implement that in the code. And an important question is, why does this work? Why does the solution which I described, which looks so simple, work? The key idea to why it works is because we try to visit the nodes in the order in which they appear in A. And that is exactly what the question is asking us. The question is asking us, if we try to visit the nodes in the order in which they appear in A, will the resulting BFS be the same as A? That's what the question is asking us, and that's exactly what we are doing. So now, in the end, after we find the BFS ordering, we just need to check if the BFS ordering is the same as A. And now let's implement the solution so that you can understand how we write the BFS code and how we can code up the custom comparator part. So in the code, first I have a global variable n, which represents the number of nodes in the graph, and that can be at most 2 into 10 to the 5. Then I have an adjacency list of n nodes, and I have the BFS function, which doesn't take any parameters and returns a BFS ordering of the tree. And the way the BFS function would work would be in 3 steps. In the first step, we initialize a queue with the single node 1. The second step is basically one line, which is the while loop. And the third step is to extract the top node from the queue and to add every adjacent unvisited node to the queue. So that tells me that I have to have a visited array, and for every unvisited node I'll add it to the queue. And one important detail which I missed saying was that we need to mark the unvisited node as visited, and without that basically the code wouldn't work because it would go into an infinite loop, and in the end we'll basically return the ordering. And the way the ordering is defined is by the nodes which we are pushing in the queue. So that's why I'll push back u, which is the top node in the queue, to the ordering, and I'll return the ordering. So that takes care of our BFS function, which will be used in the end. In the beginning, first we take in the input n and the edges in the graph. Then we take in a, which basically represents the claimed BFS ordering. Note that I'm using zero-based indexing because BFS also returns ordering with zero-based indexing. And over here I have a visited array of size n plus 1 because n is not defined after we take in n from here. It's going to be, and we are using one-based indexing, so that's why we need a memory of size n plus 1 so that the last node can be marked visited. Otherwise we would get basically an error saying that the memory was not allocated for the last node. Then we need to sort the adjacency list of every node by the comparator function. So that's what I'm going to implement in comp. For comp to work, I need to check if I comes before j, and for that I need the indices array. So the indices array will basically store the position of each element in A. So index of A of I will be I. This is because AI occurs at position I, or AI's index in A is at position I, and that basically takes care of the comparator because we just need to return index of I is less than index of j. And now once we have taken care of the comparator, we can just check if BFS is the same as A. We'll print yes, otherwise we'll print no, because they have actually asked us to print yes or no in the end. And now let's just check whether this code passes the sample test cases. And this should actually be a front because this is a queue, not a priority queue. So in the first sample test case, we have the correct output, and the second sample test case, it seems that there shouldn't be any, this is not the same as a valid BFS ordering, and the code again gives the correct output. So let's just run this code to see that it gets accepted. So as you could see, my code got accepted. So returning to the learning target from the beginning of this video, we learned how to check if an array A, which is given in the input, can represent a BFS ordering of the tree. And the idea was to use an unconventional use of sorting the adjacency list of each node, and we learned how the BFS algorithm can be used more than just to find the shortest distances from one to every other node. So I hope you like this video and my solution to this problem. Thank you.